thank you for inviting me to be here today. I love this organization because I love the fact that y'all actually do work. And that's the most important thing to me is the work. My name is Eric Johnson, and some of you may have heard, some of you may not. I just won the Democratic primary in District 100 to represent this area and also all of the South Dallas Fair Park area. Not all of South Dallas, but a big chunk of it, plus Pleasant Grove, not all of it, but a big chunk of that, and half roughly of West Dallas, and a little bit of Oak Lawn, and the area around White Rock Lake, Buckner Terrace, and the areas in between here in Buckner Terrace, Urbandale, Parkdale, Piedmont, those neighborhoods. So, like I said, thank you for inviting me to be here with you today, and also thank you for those of you who supported me. I see a lot of people in the room who were supporters of the campaign, but I'm not here to talk about politics anymore, because I think this is an important thing for us to discuss, and it's the first thing I wanted to bring up, is that I don't think there is a sufficient understanding in the community of the difference between politics and public policy. Politics is what I just went through for the past 9 months. That's the art of getting elected. That's raising money. That's field strategy. Are you going to do a door-to-door campaign, or are you going to do a mail campaign, or are you going to do a radio campaign? That's who's going to endorse who. Go talk to this person to get this person's endorsement, and what have you. That's about winning an office. But that's the least important part of the whole equation, because at some point the election ends, and it ended for us on March 2nd, and that's when the transition is supposed to happen to public policy, which is what you do with the office and how you actually represent the people that you've been elected to represent. And that's a whole different matter, and I think that's something that we need to spend more time talking about and understanding, because we have some great, I'm just going to lay it out there, we got some great politicians in Dallas. We got people who know how to they'll put out a robocall on you. They know how to put up signs. They know how to rip up signs. They know how to get endorsement. They know how to block. That's politics. That's what that is. We don't have as many as we need public policy leaders, people who go to their respective body, whether that be the school board, city hall, state legislature, the federal level, whatever, who will go and then take that same level of intensity and passion for politics and apply it to their colleagues in that body and make sure that we get the resources that we need. There's some people who are loud on the street corner here during the campaign season, and they're like church mice in their bodies, and you wouldn't know that unless you go and look. So you have to go to Washington, or you have to go to Austin, or you have to go to City Hall, or you have to go to Ross to really see what's happening. So that's not a slight on any individual person. I don't have any particular person in mind, but what I'm saying to you is that that's a very important distinction. And so I want to make sure that we start, and we already have in this group, Unify South Dallas, we've already started the process of transition from politics to policy. This agenda, which I've read numerous times, I mean, every word of it, is an amazing document, because this ain't got nothing to do with politics at all. This has everything to do with public policy and what we're trying to accomplish in this community, what the people in the community want to see happen. And I can tell you right now, you heard it from me directly. I'm looking at you in this camera. It's going to be recorded. I'm committed to this agenda. The only real job I've ever had, now I had a lot of summer internships and stuff like that. The only real job I've ever had has been as an attorney. And the way our profession works, the way our ethics work, and we swear, we have to go down to Austin, and the Supreme Court swears us at each end. We swear to do certain things. And one of the things we swear to do is your client is your boss. It's not the other way around. They hire you, usually for money, to represent their interests zealously. You can lose your bar card from going into a courtroom or into a negotiation and a business deal and selling your client out, or not representing your client's interests to the fullest of your ability kind of winking and nodding to the other side and selling your own client down the river is a violation of our ethics. Our job is to always fight 100% for our client. That's number one. But the other thing that we have to do is we can't ever take the client where the client doesn't want to go. Your job as a lawyer, and if you've ever dealt with a criminal lawyer, they try to kind of push this a little bit the wrong direction, but I'm telling you, this is how it's supposed to work according to our ethics. You went to law school and you passed the bar exam, so you have a certain amount of knowledge that your client presumably does not have. What you're supposed to do with that knowledge is to advise your client as to a course of action. This is what I think we should do. But it is always the client's ultimate decision to take that advice or not and say, yes, I want to do that. Yes, I'll take that 2 years of probation, or say, no, I want to go to trial. I want to claim my innocence and I want to prove it in court. I want to testify on my own behalf. That's always the client's right to do that. Well, why am I going into all that? Because that's the same way I look at representing a community. You're put there to lead, true enough. You're put there to exercise your judgment, true enough. That's what the campaign was for, to educate the people about what you feel like your qualifications are and why they should hire you to be their lawyer, their representative. But you need to consult your client at all times, advise them of a course of action, and then let them tell you if they want to take it. And if they don't want to take it, you don't do it. You can't do it. So that's the way I look at representing this district, is I want to be the zealous advocate this community needs, but I'm always going to be listening to my client, because that's what the district is. An unpaid legal client is how I look at it. My job is to go and represent us down in Austin. So we need to know all of those types of things before we go and advocate for our policy initiatives. We will be more effective that way. So we need to understand the different levels of government and how they work. We need to be organized and persistent. And those two words, obviously, they mean what they say. But what I really have in mind is, I think the days of just thinking that volume, in terms of noise, is the same thing as effective policy advocacy. It's not the same thing. Right. It's 2010 now, and what that means is you need to have done your research, you need to have crunched some numbers, you need to have figured out exactly what you are trying to accomplish and who is the proper vehicle to accomplish it before you go and talk to somebody, because that will make them know that you're a force to be reckoned with. They're like, okay, this person is organized, knows what they're talking about. And then the persistence part of it is they need to know that you're not going anywhere until you get some satisfaction. So we need to be organized and persistent. We need to understand, and this is something I learned from the campaign, we need to understand, I call it war strategy. Because it feels like war sometimes when you're out there fighting for what you believe in, but you need to understand war. And what I mean by that is, you need to understand what you have and what you don't have. You need to understand, you need to know your troops better than anybody else. If you're going to be a general out there in the field, you need to know if you have strong infantry with a terrible navy. You need to know if you have, good guerrilla warfare tactics, but not good traditional warfare tactics. Bottom line, you need to know what you have, so you don't step into battles and fights that you are destined to lose because you chose the wrong strategy. With respect to accountability, I do expect to be held accountable. I do expect to hear from you. I expect you to come see me. I expect you to tell me when you feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But I expect that to be based in reasonableness and rationality, meaning understand what I can and cannot do, what my job description is, before you go calling for me to be fired or be promoted. Either way. So what I'm saying is, I don't want credit for stuff I didn't do. I don't want credit for stuff that Ms. Nuttall accomplished, because she's on the school board. So if she accomplished something on the school board, I'm not going to go and segue my way in front of a camera and say, yeah, we did this. Like, no, I didn't. So I'm going to take a back seat. In a nutshell, I look forward to working with everybody. I don't have any hang-ups about the election was the election. Now we're at the public policy. If you want to work on making things better and on this, which I'm loved and a huge fan of, let's get to work on it. But if people want to linger and continue to play political games and fight politics, we know how to do that too. But we'll do that at the appropriate time. Right now is the time for people who want to